Hello, welcome back to Chelsea Chat, and for a first this season, which we're hoping to do throughout the season, depending on how well these things go, is we will be reviewing the Chelsea games and talking about how that match went, our thoughts. So welcome back to Chelsea Chat, and you're here with me, Dan Welch, JB. Let's get started. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification so you're notified of kind of any new videos that we've got coming up, and also get involved in the conversation in the comments. No more delaying, straight off into the video. Let's go. Jamie, 3-1 Chelsea. I think if you don't watch the game, you don't hear anything about the game, you think, oh, great start for Chelsea. They look promising this season.
Yeah, no, the scoreline definitely flattered us. I think overall, our performance wasn't fantastic. There was a few key men who didn't perform particularly well, but also there was some very positive performances as well. Obviously, first game of the season with such a lack of pre-season, it was always probably going to be like that. I think obviously with all the new signings we've brought in, everyone's been very optimistic, excited about this game, and it's just obviously not lived up to it because of the fact that we probably expected far too much than what in reality was going to provide us with. I think Timo Werner looked absolutely brilliant. He was, for me, man of the match. Kante, back fit, looking strong, looking good. That was a big positive. Even Jorginho seemed to have quite a good game. There was a few negatives I had for him, but we can go through that later. But yeah, no, overall, 3 points, that's the most important thing. But a lot of room for improvement there. No, definitely. I totally agree that there's definitely room for improvement. But as we always say, if you can get away with a win there in terms of not playing too great, it's potentially promising. I think Brighton, it's fair to mention Brighton. I think they look, I mean, you would have seen on the previous podcast, I tipped them to go down this season, but to me, they look pretty good. They came to Chelsea and kind of gave it a good go. But ultimately, I think Chelsea, had too much quality about them. So I want to talk about a couple of the players and kind of how they performed. I think let's just touch on Loftus-Cheek. I know you had some thoughts on him, and again, I think it goes back lack of pre-season training, but just getting back to match fitness. How do you think he played? Yeah, he was very bad. He was really, really bad. Which I don't say that easily because I really want him to succeed at Chelsea, but I think it was a mixture of things. Not his best position. So at first I wasn't sure if he was going to be playing wide or as a cam number 10, but he looked like he was playing as a number 10. He just you could see that obviously there was moments where he showed his quality a little bit, but the problem is he's not played football for probably almost like 18 months, something like that. He's not had a proper, start in a game. He's not had minutes, really. So whilst he might be fit, I don't think he's match sharp. It's just that kind of final ball, his decision-making, his thinking, it's just not quite up to speed.
Yeah, he went missing. I almost forgot sometimes he was on the pitch first half. So let's touch on, and Jamie, be prepared. I want you to give your one most worrying thing about the performance and one most exciting thing about the performance at the end of the podcast, though. So kind of keep thinking about that. But I want to talk about some players. KEPA, for a start. I think we all know the history with KEPA. I think there's, keen to get your thoughts. For that goal, he seemed to be a bit blinded. And I think he could have done better. I think he was upset with himself. But at the same time, he looked he looked more hungry in my eyes in the game. He looked like he actively wanted to try and do his best. But ultimately, can Chelsea win the league with KEPA playing the way he is? Or even do you think he's got the potential to improve?
Yes, I do. I think,
okay.
I mean, I've said this so many times, and every single time, he has a bad game or something, but he's got the ability. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
If there wasn't something there, we wouldn't have spent 70 million on him. He's in a bad patch. He's obviously had a very big knock of his confidence. I don't think he's going to succeed at Chelsea unless he goes away and maybe gets a loan or something.
Even with that potential competition coming in that Lampard's talking about or teasing?
I think it's difficult. I think the issue is his confidence is just shot to pieces.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, if you're bringing in another person to give him competition, it's not going to help with his confidence. Maybe it'll fire him up a bit more, but it might even make him more nervous in games. So if we're bringing someone else in, we bring someone else in who's going to replace Kepa in my eyes. I know, it probably will be competition, and you could see games where maybe Kepa does well in training, he might start. But I don't think it's actually going to improve him. I think he needs to go somewhere where he's not got that price tag on his shoulders. He's not so much in the spotlight, and he can just get a few years under his belt, even like a 2-year loans back in Spain somewhere, just to settle himself down, re-find his form, a bit of confidence, come back, and then maybe, he might be able to push and do well for us.
Okay, so moving on to a couple of positives. I think, as you've touched on, Timo Werner looked hungry, really hungry, did well to win the penalty, and just really looked like he wanted to get involved in the game and looking at every opportunity. I even loved when he was chasing down the defenders, trying to win back the ball, and then just hands up because there was no Chelsea player around him to kind of support him in that. So your thoughts on Werner's first game there?
Yeah, absolutely. He was all over the place. He was, everywhere, trying to do everything. He was, frantic in a good way. He wasn't over the top. He wasn't like Bambi on ice. He was just everything he did was really good. And it brings me so much excitement because, we've been so hit and miss over the years with strikers. We'll have a Drogba and a Costa, but then you'll have a Morata and a Torres. It can go either way with our strikers. But luckily he seems to be exactly how we thought he was going to be. And I am so excited. He's going to be a fan favourite for sure. Even watching his interview after the game, he got a knock on the knee when he won the penalty, and they're asking him about it. He's like, "Oh, it doesn't matter if I'm injured or not. I don't care. I'll play. I'll be playing against Liverpool. It doesn't matter. I just want to play for this club." And I was just like, "Yeah, go on." Getting me all excited for it. But no, he's definitely going to be a fan favourite for many years, I think.
Yeah, it's only small, and I loved when Zuma scored his goal, and he tapped him on the shoulder about 5 times, waiting for a handshake from Zuma to congratulate him on the goal. I just really wanted to be involved. I just loved it. So one other player I wanted to highlight, and then Keen, if you've got any other players to highlight as well, is Reece James. I think once he got his goal, I think I just saw a bit of confidence coming from Reece James there. And even also for 10 minutes after that goal was scored, I just saw Chelsea wake up a little bit. And it was kind of nice to see. I loved his runs. He seemed to be connecting with the forwards a little bit more there. Ultimately, I love the confidence it gave him. What did you think on Reece James's performance?
Yeah, I think first half, tactically, things weren't going great, and it cost him a little bit with his performance. First half, he wasn't covered in glory. He wasn't amazing. Right. Second half, basically, he was just kind of getting pinged back into the kind of final quarter of the pitch with the wing backs. And I think Lampard probably highlighted to him at halftime, look, you're there to get forwards. You need to, and he probably same to Alonso, you need to get forward a bit more, pin them in instead and see what their wing backs can do defensively, because we're just taking all the pressure at the moment. So second half, he seemed to be playing a bit further up the field, getting into better positions, putting in some good crosses. And even like the Sky analysis of the goal afterwards, they showed that his positioning for that goal, it was brilliant, because he was in a more central area. Most fullbacks would be kind of further to the right hand side or to the left hand side, and it's not really good for either helping the attack or for defending, because if someone nicks the ball off and they're on a counter attack, you're not going to be there to help. So the central position he was in, it was perfect for him to help kill off any counter attacks, but it also enabled him to support the attack as well. Nice. And I mean, what not much you can say about that goal. Absolutely beautiful strike, right top corner, brilliant. But no, Reece James has been one that we've all been very excited for. I think it's going to be a big season for him. I think he's going to play such a big part. And I mean, you have to be playing well if you're going to keep Azpilicueta out the team. Yeah. And once Chilwell's fit, then it'll be a big fight between those two for the starting right back spot, I think.
And that's exactly what you need, a bit of competition.
Exactly.
Okay, so one final player I think we have to touch on is Kai Havertz. Now, this is an instinctive reaction to me, so shoot me down, but I saw the bloke and he looked like he hadn't eaten in about a week. I don't know whether it's a difference to watching playing in the Bundesliga versus just seeing him on the Premier League pitch. He just looked seriously skinny. And I don't know whether... I heard his comments after the game where obviously he hadn't trained and only trained for a couple of 5 days or whatever it was. But my instinct, my reaction was he needs to put on some meat to kind of... Otherwise, if you look at the likes of Hazard, you look at what Ronaldo was, I know that's the kind of big leagues comparing him, but they got beaten up a lot. Mm-hmm. And I feel like he's going to need a bit of meat on him to kind of to take that. Am I fair in making those comments, or what do you think?
I don't think it's necessarily about size because he's a big bloke in terms of height.
Yeah.
I think he's probably just not used to the physicality of the league. Like Pulisic is the perfect example. When he come in last season, first game, he come on a sub against United when we lost 4-0. He was getting pushed about. He was getting fouled. He was, and he just couldn't handle it. He's not, beefed up at all, but I think he's just got used to it. He might have, done a bit of work at the gym to get a little bit stronger, but I think he's just got used to it and he's learned how to handle it and how to do what he needs to do around that. And I think it will come with Havertz, then he's not stupid. He knows that the Premier League is a physical league. He would have known that well in advance of joining. And he's felt the pace now. He's felt how it is. He will learn every single game and he'll get better and better. And he obviously wanted that challenge. He would have known about it and he's chosen to come to the Premier League. So he clearly wants to have that challenge. So come the end of the season, I think, he's going to be, have had a good season. I think he's going to be a great player for Chelsea long term. So I wouldn't judge him too much on the first game. But he probably could do with, a little bit more strength. But that will come over time.
No, just an instinctive reaction. I don't think he played terribly bad in the end of the day. He shows a bit of fire here and there, and I liked some of his link-up play. Okay, so moving on to your most worrying thing and your most exciting thing. Try and keep this succinct. So what was your most worrying thing about that performance?
Same as last year, defence, including goalkeeper. But saying that at the same time, it was the same defence and goalkeeper we had last season. So we've obviously brought in a couple of reinforcements already for the defence. We're potentially bringing in another goalkeeper. So that can only help. We can't have another season where we concede 50 goals. That's just absolutely outrageous.
No, I totally agree.
Most encouraging thing or most exciting thing, Timo Werner, as I said earlier, he is going to be everyone's favourite player, I think.
Yeah, no, definitely. And for me, just to comment on that, I think my kind of worrying and kind of encouraging thing are kind of linked. I think looking at Chelsea's first half performance and here and there on the second half, it's, if they don't keep that belief in Lampard, I could see them just playing as individuals and it just wasn't connected. Totally the first game. I'm not really worried about that. Lampard needs his time and those players just need to buy into that vision. Because then once like I said, there was 10 minutes around when Brighton equalised and kind of the goals were flying in for Chelsea. I saw that connection. I saw Reece James running up past. I saw a bit of connection here and there. So I saw, in a encouraging side of things, what Chelsea could do and what they could play. And I saw that pace. I just hope that the players continue with that vision for Lampard, because I've also seen the other side there in that disconnected, disjointed kind of, when you see it at the end of a manager's reign where they just don't want to play for him anymore. Not Lampard position, because he's only had a short amount of time, but just reflecting on Klopp's rather silly comments, kind of saying that he's bought a load of great individuals, but can they play as a team? But there's always truth in those comments. But guys, for me, that was a fascinating conversation, but that's all we've got time for. So again, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell notification and comment on this video, and we'll see you for the next one. Peace out.